You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, Operation Tech Takeover, if you're there, right? Let me know how the mic sounds. I'm trying out a different mic where it doesn't have to be right in front of my face. So, if you can hear me and you're not like maybe if you stop on your drive or something like that, let me know how the sound is. I'm trying out a new mic. It's not right in front of my face. It's like more like right here. So that would be, I'd be curious to hear your feedback on the sound quality, or if I should bring the other mic right back in front, right? So let me know. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. So let's start off real quick. If you do not know who I am your host of the Koffee and Kata morning show. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win, as it says right here. Engineered to win. Everything that we do, it's shaped and focused around being successful, around winning, around having the best possible outcomes to further enhance our lives and the lives of our family. All right? So that is what we do here. That is our goal. In the Koffee and Kata morning show, we review some news articles as well as we do some coding challenges. However, last night on the live stream on the software explorations where we're doing automation on Free Mind Recovery website, I put a poll up, right? And I wanted to repurpose what we do in the morning to something a little bit more productive, I would say. So, okay, Operation Tech Takeover says you sound a little further away, but sounds clear. So would you say go back to, let's do this, right? Do we go back to, this mic right here and leave it like that? Or we go with this one? Let me know what you think. But for now, I'll leave it as this one, and based on what Operation Tech Takeover says, I'll choose which mic to use, and then I'll make some adjustments to get it right. But just curious, trying out new things. I don't know how I feel, because like I'm watching it. I don't know. I kind of feel used to having the mic in front of my face, but we'll find out. We shall find out. Anyone else with some feedback, let me know if you are able to chime in. So, anyways. What I was saying, so we decided that we're going to repurpose the morning challenges a little bit to something a little bit more productive. Not saying that the CodeWars and the Chaos Camp is not productive, because it helps me a lot. We do a lot of research, figuring things out, right? However, I am learning Flutter, and I do have an idea for this mobile app, a small little mobile app that I'm building to really help myself and possibly help you as well. But it's going to be based on this calculation I had to see if something is actually keto friendly or not. So I wanted to build this little calculator app and then eventually expand it a little bit, So, and I was like, well, how can I get more time to work on it? Well, the way to get more time is to do it live, do it on the show, repurposing your time to be the most efficient possible, right? So that's what we're going to start doing. On Monday, we're going to be transitioning over to working on our Flutter app using Android Studios, Dart, Flutter, right? And let me see what Tech Takeover says. He's like, either is fine. I think that the one in front, I just think that the one that is in front of you, your voice has more depth. That's a good point. That is a very, very good point, right? So I'll do this show like this one. You know, this is the morning show, not that many eyes on it. So we'll try out this mic for the morning show, and then based on how it sounds when I watch the replay, I'll see which one I'll go to. But yeah, I do see a good point in the voice having more depth. So I appreciate your feedback, Tech Takeover. Let's go here and say shout out to Operation Tech Takeover, always supporting, always bringing that amazing feedback. Yep, I know what you mean, right? It's a change, so I'll see. I might go back to the. I'll see how it sounds. I might go back to the other one, and maybe I'll switch it up from time to time. You know, it just depends on the show, probably. So we shall see. Appreciate it. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna jump into our news topic, and let's throw our 5 minutes up on the clock. And let's do it. All right, let's zoom in a bit. It says, Disney widens password crackdown. Disney is prohibiting password sharing across more of its streaming services, echoing a seemingly profitable move by Netflix. In an email on Wednesday, Disney-owned streamer Hulu explicitly banned account sharing outside of your primary personal residence, warning existing subscribers they'll need to comply by March 14th. User agreements for Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus now all prevent users from using other people's usernames or passwords. Competitor Netflix has cited its password sharing crackdown as a catalyst for recent subscriber growth, promoting rivals to make similar moves. So, no more password sharing, folks. No more password sharing. And honestly, like, it's interesting because the priorities of people, right? Where because they no longer allow password sharing and they have increased their prices significantly, right? They have recent subscriber growth. People cannot get enough of watching their Netflix shows and movies, etc., right? So, prompting rivals to make similar moves. And then it says Disney Plus began updating its subscriber terms last year, Deadline reports. Disney CEO Bob Iger hinted at the move last summer, saying the company would tackle password sharing this year, right? So, you know, that's interesting. And we'll see why this is a little bit more interesting as we head to our next articles, right? So let's move on. Peloton growth hitting resistance. So CEO Barry McCarthy promised last February that Peloton would see revenue growth within the year. But there are scant signs of that in its latest earnings report or in its financial outlook, which it revised downward Thursday. For the quarter ending December 31st, Peloton exceeded Wall Street's revenue expectations, but also posted a higher than expected loss. Ah, shucks. The pandemic era darling has recently struggled, per McCarthy, to grow at scale. And he said the strategy to partner with colleges to lure Gen Z customers who happen to be the biggest spenders on health and wellness didn't deliver. So let's think about that real quick, right? Peloton's business model. What is their business model, right? It's more hardware than it's software, which can be a problem, right? And why is that a problem when your focus is more on hardware than on software, right? If your hardware isn't an essential component to someone's everyday life, then it's going to be hard, because selling a $2,000 piece of software with a $50 subscription or something like that monthly. I don't know how much the Peloton subscription is, right? But I think more people would be willing to go to this for the subscription if the hardware requirement wasn't attached to it. So let's say you can have your own bike, right? And let's say you get your own bike, whether it's one of those like those pedaling bikes, but it's not a Peloton, right? With all the features and gadgets, or you have that bike stand where the back wheel goes off the ground, and then so you can ride your regular bike that way. If you could have if you could have a screen in front of you using the Peloton software, then that would seem a little bit more promising, because you're selling software and you have updates and you can add other scenes and stuff like that, other challenges, bring other people in. But when you try to add that hardware component, it gets a bit pricey, right? Especially if a lot of people are going after it. So that's the troubling aspect of it, because you have tools like, I mean, there's many different applications that you can use to do that. So that's an interesting front, all right? So it says Peloton warned of another loss in the current quarter and tepid sales for the rest of the year. Some good news: the company's Tread Plus device and retail sales from Amazon and Dick's Sporting Goods were both much stronger than expected. Peloton is going after Gen Z through a pact with TikTok and co-branded content, as well as a deal with Lululemon. So I don't know where these Gen Zs get all this money from to be able to afford this Peloton hardware, but more power to Peloton for targeting Gen Z, because they, as it says, they are the biggest spenders on health and wellness. All right. So that is the Peloton article. All right. Let's move on to our next one. So Zoom and Okta announced job cuts. Well, that is highly unfortunate. So Okta is the latest tech company to register layoffs, letting go roughly 400 employees globally, or 7% of its staff. The company said on Thursday, right? So it let go 400 employees and 7% of its staff globally, which 7%. Well, that's a pretty big company, right? In an email sent to employees, CEO Todd McKinnon said costs were still too high. So that means there are more layoffs coming out very, very soon. The layoffs at the San Francisco-based identity management giant come just a year after it cut about 300 jobs due to over hiring. Jesus Christ. It comes as big firms including Amazon and Google have announced rounds of job reduction this year, continuing to reverse some of their pandemic hiring sprees. Video conferencing company Zoom cut roughly 150 jobs this week, or less than 2% of its workforce, as they evaluate teams to ensure alignment with their strategy, Bloomberg reports, citing anonymous sources. That sucks. All right, that sucks. All right, now let's move on to our next article. Sucks to hear about layoffs. Every time we go through a layoff article, that sucks to hear about it. But you know, I would say though, a high point about somewhat of a high point about getting laid off from an Amazon, a Google, an Okta, a Zoom, is that it is super impressive on the resume, and that you get the opportunity to if you are good at what you did, right, for those companies, your resume kind of shoots up to the top of recruiters and stuff like that. So that is a bright point. Like, so I was saying the other day, right? I would rather have the opportunity to work for one of these major companies for, I don't know, 3 to 4 years, 2 to 3 years, whatever, and getting to experience working for that company and having it on my resume than not having the opportunity at all because they didn't want to overhire in the first place. If I was a overhiring mistake, I could live with that because the depth of the name is really important and impressive, right? So just a thought. All right, just a thought. All right, let's move on to the next one. The U.S. job market seen slowing. Okay, so, and if you notice, right, so the subscription services for entertainment are continuing to grow, but Zoom, Okta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, throw them in there. They are having layoffs. Peloton's growth is slowing down. Now the US job market is seen as slowing, but people are continuing to entertain themselves and increasing their subscriptions, right? So the US economy likely added fewer jobs in January as the labor market exhibited signs of cooling. Friday's report from the Labor Department is expected to show 185,000 new non-farm payrolls. I always wonder, like, what does the non-farm mean, right? We have to look that up. Not today, but we'll look it up definitely, right? Maybe on a live stream, maybe Sunday we'll look it up. What does non-farm payrolls mean? So down from 216,000 added in December, according to a MarketWatch survey. Rising jobless claims on the back of the recent spike in layoffs and a report earlier this week showing fewer Americans are voluntarily leaving their jobs suggests that the robust labor market that grew out of the pandemic is softening. The unemployment rate is expected to tick up to 3.8% from 3.7% in December, still near historic lows. So here is something that's interesting, right? Because they say here that right here it says suggests that the robust labor market that grew out of the pandemic is softening. That's a little bit interesting to me because I remember before the pandemic, the unemployment rate was around like 3.8%, 3.7%. And then after the pandemic started and everywhere laid off all their employees, it skyrocketed up, right? And then within that year or so, it started coming back down. But I wonder if, did we have a robust labor market because of the pandemic? Or did the pandemic cause it to go all the way back up and then now it's coming back down? Because remember, we have high levels of inflation, right? We have all these things happening across the globe with like conflicts and wars and stuff like that, which that might be an even bigger contributor to the slowing down of the job market, all right? So that is that one. Let's jump into our very last one and then we'll do a little bit of time with the Code Wars, all right? So let's move on to the next one. So Meta profits, what? They did what? Meta profits triple and stocks surge. So Meta's fourth quarter earnings report confirmed that 2023 was one of the company's strongest years to date. Revenue at Facebook and Instagram's parent company grew at the fastest clip since mid-2021, totaling $40.1, don't forget the $0.1 billion, about $900 million more than investors expected, and a 25% jump from last year. CEO Mark Zuckerberg's year of efficiency, during which he laid off 1/3 of Meta staff, so 33% of Meta staff, brought costs and expenses down 8% from the prior year, and its operating margin doubled. Shares of the social media giant, which nearly tripled in value last year, hit a record last week, skyrocketed on the news in pre-market trading. Got to check my Meta stock. Meta announced its first dividend payment. It will pay 50 cents per share on March 26th. Shout out to Meta on the dividend payments. pay investors 50 cents per share on March 26th. It will use more than $65 billion in excess cash for a $50 billion stock buyback. Facebook is still growing with 2.11 billion daily users, 3.07 billion monthly users, and an average of $13.12 in revenue per user. Shout out to Facebook for doing the damn thing. All right, so those are our news articles. Let's go back to full screen. So those are our news articles. A lot going on in this mean streets, right? Disney, they don't want you sharing your passwords anymore, right? Peloton, their hardware and their software ain't what it used to be. Zoom and Okta, they are laying off part of their workforce. The US job market is slowing, and Meta tripled their stock. And let's run through the headlines real quick of what else we didn't get to cover, right? So hybrid prevails amid return to office debate. Employed but not thrilled about it. Oh, that seems like an interesting one. Maybe that is something that we can cover on Monday. Actually, you know what? I am curious to read this one, right? Let's take a look at this one real quick, right? But other ones, so Musk wants to move Tesla to Texas. I thought they were already in Texas, where AI will have the biggest impact. And then we have Apple sales up ahead of a VP release, Vision Pro release, and ad giants to pay $350 million over opioids, right? So I do want to read this one real quick, right? Because I'm curious to see what it says, because, you know, you just can't make people happy nowadays, right? So let's go and take a quick look at this one. Employed but not thrilled about it. You may have a job, but are you happy about it? I never really considered happiness or anything like that, right? This year, more Americans will say no, predicts Bloomberg. The US economy has dodged a recession, but demand for workers may cool, suggested Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday. That will leave many Americans stuck in jobs they don't want, with dwindling opportunities to make a change. The situation is especially tough for white-collar workers, for whom the number of available jobs flatlined over the past year. An unemployed American now spends an average of 22 weeks looking for a job, the longest since August 2022. A record number of Americans juggled more than one job last year, and most were women. Okay, shout out to the ladies out there. As of December, American women worked multiple jobs at the highest rate since 1990. Current pay also isn't cutting it for Americans. In a December poll, nearly 40% said their household recently required extra income to pay the bills. All right, so that is very interesting because you can't make people happy, right? You give them a job, they're not happy about it. You don't give them a job, they're also not happy about it. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to tackle that one real quick. So let's get to our coding. So if you are enjoying the show so far, go ahead and do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and as well as the notification bell so you can know every time we go live, drop new content. Like the video, share the video, right? Leave me a comment, interact with me in the chat. Check out the Patreon, where you can get the exclusive content that you need so you can level up your tech skills, as well as sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, www.techcoachralph.dev, as well as you can go to connect.techcoachralph.dev to see all the other ways you can connect with me on social medias, on Connect, whatever it is, right? I am here for you, okay? So I'm gonna throw up 15 minutes on the clock and we shall get to work. Remember, Monday, we are going to be transitioning over into Flutter to work on building a mobile app. I already started on it and I'm going to continue working on it every day, but you can join me on the journey as I work on that and ask me any questions about it, but it's not going to be exclusive on YouTube. I'm not going to reserve it only to the mornings that I'm working on it. I'll be working on it throughout. So, but you can join me for those days that I work on it live on air, and you can ask me what I'm doing and we can give some feedback, have some interaction, right? That's what I'm going to be using the mornings for, because everything I do I repeat, it has to benefit me first. You have to put yourself first. And then everything that you do for once it starts to overflow in you, then it can spread out to others, right? But if you're always not taking care of yourself and you want to take care of other people, that's where the true burnout happens, right? So at least when you burn yourself out taking care of yourself, it'll be rewarding, and then you can give the rest to everyone else, right? And that's why I'm like, I have to focus on me learning, and then I can share that information with you, right? So that's my goal. That's what we do here, okay? So let's go over to the other screen. We have 15 minutes up, and maybe I can move. Oops, let's go there, right? So let's do this, all right? Let's do this. Actually, one quick second. All right, yes. I had a heater on in the back, and I forgot, like, these mics pick up on everything, especially this mic that I'm using. So I just turned it off, and hopefully we can see how the sound quality sounds with that, because sometimes like just little buzzing and stuff like that, it can be super, super annoying. So hopefully that makes a difference. And we'll be playing. We have two mics. I have a bunch of mics, but we'll be going back and forth, depending on the show context and how I need the sound quality to be. So that's the plan. All right. So let's go into here, and so we're working on this one last week, right? And I wish I could save it because I couldn't find it the other way, but can I start it somehow? Just so if I don't finish on it, I can come back to it, right? But what we were trying to do was we're trying to return the count of distinct case insensitive alphabetic characters and numeric digits. So for instance, so here, none of these show more than once, right? But here you have A twice and B twice. So that shows up 2, right? Same thing for this one. So that's what we were working on last week. So let's go ahead and let's run our test. Not run our tests, but run our tests. And let's see what we get. So we should have, this one should be 1 or 2 because there's A 3 times and B 2 times. So there's 2 characters that show up twice, right? So let's see. So what I want to do, so here's what I was thinking, right? So duplicate counter equals 0. And every time we find one that matches, we want to assign, so loop through each character in the string, right? Assign the character during each phase of the loop. Compare the character to each character in the string, right? And if it's a duplicate, increment it. And we're saying break this one right here. And then go back to this one. And we want to remove. So let me see, right? Let me see. So character. let me see. So print text list pop index. So let's do some printing. Let's see what we got. All right, so let's see. Let's run this. All right. And I want to also print text list. So I use the print so I can see like what's going on, and then I'll clean up the print afterwards. But all right, so once we do this, so we have, all right, so let's take out this, let's see. So but the problem is, so here's what the problem is going to be by doing the pop here, right? We're not going to get the, see how it's stripping it already? So it's not going to get that count, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to move. So we're going to move this line right here. Well, I'm not even taking anything out of it. So let me see. Okay, so here, if we were to go like that, and let's take this out altogether. And let's run it again. I want to see how the, all right, so you see, this is the problem. Oh, and it's taking it out at the index. So we want to, so if we did instead remove character, and I'm just like trying different things out, and that's how I figure it out, right? Because like I don't remember all this type of code and stuff. So what I'm doing is I try different things out to see what's gonna happen, right? So see, this one still keeps the A. So what we could do is, let me think. Let's see. Text list dot remove character, but it only removes the first one. So let me see. Remove all instances from, sorry, remove all occurrences from an element from a list, right? So okay, let's see. A list, so the remove operation should do it. So why isn't my remove operation doing it? Let's see. Let's try that. So it's just remove, but that only does it once. So let's see this one. Okay, so remove only removes the first occurrence. So if we want to remove a bunch of them, all occurrences, this is super annoying. Okay, so we can go with all right. I have an idea. There's got to be easier way to do this. So let's see what we can do. All right. So remove is going to just remove the character. So here's what we can do, right? If character under investigation equals if character under investigation equals that, then increment by 1, and then we should say we want to remove that though. Not all right. Trying to think through, because this is just removing one character, right? And this is not even the right spot to do it, to be honest with you. Let's see, let's say I drop this over here. I think it's going to get the same result, but let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Text list removed. Yeah, not too. This one is. I have to think more about this one. Probably very, very easy, but I have to think more about this one of how I would approach it, because I have to get more familiar with the different Python methodologies, right? If the character matches the one that is assigned, then we shall increment duplicate count and break the subgroup comparison. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to let this one go for now, right? And then we can revisit it. I have to think more about it to see how I want to approach it, because it's the logic of the loop and pulling out. I'm not constructing the logic together properly of when to increment and when to extract, when to remove from the list, right? So I have to think about it a little bit more. It's going to take a little bit more thought, but that is it for the morning. right? Thank you. And if you're watching this on replay, let me know in the comments, what do you think about the sound? Do you prefer the other mic better, or was this okay? We'll see what happens, right? But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We have a episode of the Bug Bite coming out at noon today, so make sure to tune in for that. And we will be going live on Sunday to work on Terraform. So that is the plan. That is the goal. By the way, Tech Takeover, hopefully you made it to work safely. I will be competing tomorrow at the Miami Open Purple Belt Light Feather Division. So that's what's going to be going on this weekend. Take this off the screen. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Check me out on Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, where you can get the information that you need to level up your technical skills. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. But until then, I will see you guys on Sunday. Have an amazing Friday and an amazing weekend as well. Tech Coach Ralph is out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.